Hello and welcome back to Get Even. This is BioEnchanted, and today we'll be going through the last level of the game. So let's begin, shall we? I quite like the way this level's put together. I quite like the way it leads into the ending as well. We'll see that when we see it.
Disrupt it as little as possible, Black. Don't go in all guns blazing.
Do our best. One thing I like with this is that train. As you can tell, the train's rhythm has just entered the soundtrack. That little electro version of it there, that's a really good sound. I really like the way it does that. It's like that each of these levels has a unique soundtrack based on the sound effects in the levels themselves. That's really clever and really interesting. One of the reasons this game has such an impact on me. Let's take care of that person first, because they're just otherwise going to get in the way. There's also a collectible over here. There's actually very few collectibles in the level here. There's like 3 in the level. And the rest of them are just kind of around the level, probably because the level's kind of sparse when it comes to places to hide them, and trying to hide them in other places in this level would suck because it's mostly a gigantic jungle that can be kind of, if you don't know exactly where you're meant to be going, it can be hard to navigate this place. It's one of the harder levels to work out where you're supposed to go, especially when trying to stealth through it. I mean, I've worked out how to stealth the first third of this level, and some of the last third, but everything between there becomes like a massive crapshoot. But this first bit I've got down. But it definitely got an interesting looking map because it's how unique it is, because it's just one big outdoor area with very sparse things. There's very few white lines on the map. So the ones that are there are very distinctive, like these little ruined staircase areas and that bridge down there by the river. Just making sure we don't accidentally get caught out by this guy. But he's going away now, so we should be fine. This guy's cheeky, but we just need to go behind him, it's fine. I like the upturned boat and things like that. There's a lot of little visuals in these levels that work really well to help the levels feel kind of lived in. And that's pretty well done. Now, upcoming is the hardest collectible in my opinion to actually find because it's basically just brown on brown. You can see it there, look. So easy to miss that even though it's so big. Because it just blends in with the rest of the rocks so well. Especially if you don't already know it's there. If you don't know it's there, you just won't see it. It'll scan right over you. You'll scan right over it. Because it's just lying flat on the ground on a rock. I actually had these noted down as liquor bottles because I'm an idiot and I forgot what they actually were. We'll see that in a minute when we actually scanned it successfully instead of missing it like an idiot. There we go.
Substance recognized. Polytetrafluoroethylene sniper rifle cleaner.
So tired of this shit.
Me too, mate. 2 months since we last got paid. This is bollocks.
You guys aren't really good mercenaries, are they?
You need to relax, Mr. Black.
Not the easiest place to relax in, Ramsey.
The environment is only a product of your own state of mind, Mr. Black. You're anxious about this memory, which in turn is producing more guards. Relax and explore, remember?
This is the hardest part to stealth, because it's just there's a lot of guys in very cramped locations, and there's not very many places to hide that you don't make yourself. So if you don't know how to navigate it properly, and I don't, after multiple playthroughs of this game, I've never worked this stupid area out, you'll pretty much just keep getting caught out, and having to flee through the entire thing. It's a really frustrating area to try and do things in. I'm just trying to get close enough to this blue thing to actually use it so that I can make a little wall here. It's just these guys don't seem to want me to do that. There we go, now we have at least some cover. So we can at least get a little bit closer. Because as you can see, while there's a lot of blue spots, a lot of them are fairly well covered by guards, so it's really hard to find a good spot to really move to in this part of the area. Going to the left will just get you caught by those two at the bottom, and there's that guy up on the hill that's kind of making me nervous as well. There's really not a lot you can do in this area when it comes to avoiding enemies. You pretty much have to be perfect, and I am not perfect. What you're about to see is pretty much the best I can do in this area at the moment. But at least he's far enough away that I can just kind of, and he's turning around a little bit now, so I should be safe enough to move a little bit forward, but unfortunately it turns out I'm not quite as safe as I thought I was. That's a nice wall up there, but it's too close to the other guy. Then again, it blocks me from him, but oh dear. This guy's gonna be a problem. Okay, fuck it, run. This isn't good. Not a good start to things. Oh dear. Okay, yeah, this is about how well I tend to deal with this. Oh, Red, come on, this is a hard area to do. I'd like to see you try this. I do like the way it alters the music though when you get caught. That's in the... I love the rhythms in the music in this sets of level. Don't know why I bothered making that box, but you know, it's a nice little box, so why not let it happen. This area is actually much easier than that last area, although I still haven't quite figured it out. I've figured out at least the first half of it. This is really good music though, it's very kind of dance club. You can imagine like a very slow rave taking part of it. Now, while I've never really been that big on dubstep, I don't mind the way it's used in this game. It's used to great effect. Because the bass lines are all things that come from the actual world around you, and that's pretty cleverly done. As I mentioned with the train earlier, that we're still hearing in the background here too. But yeah, this area gives you a lot more big walls on the approach, and it gives you a better idea of what you're seeing before you even get there, so you can much more easily just kind of slip around everyone here. Well, there's a lot of guys right there on that cliff, so let's be careful not to go near those guys, shall we? And this is about as well as I can do in this area. Again, this part of the game actually gets quite tricky. While I pretty much worked out the graveyard, this area is... I don't like it as much because it's too much of a... it's a bit too like weirdly laid out to really be able to put that good a route together. So at this point it's pretty much a matter of repeat the last thing, just try and be as careful as I can and then just book till the end of the area, because we're right there, we can see it, it's right over here, come on, just up these stairs, move, move, move! Luckily these guys are terrible shots because we are now right here. We have made it to our rendezvous point. So let's see what happens, shall we?
Fuck. I'll never
Between
get
us
used to
and
how all
Howard.
this works. Howard,
Mr. Black. Been a while. Last time we saw each other would have been... Let me see.
when I stole the corner gun.
Ah, yes. When you stole my corner gun for Robert Ramsey. Really, I should just have killed you on the spot. I'd feel so much better about everything.
Then why don't you?
You're so exquisite. So flawless in the way you ruined me in my company. I wanted to even the playing field a little. Do something similar to Ramsey. And I racked my brains and I just couldn't think of who would be the best man for the job. Then it occurred to me.
Me? I'm Ramsey's head of security. Why would I work for you?
Well, at the sound design here with all the loud noises that herald the opening of the
Every
doors.
man has his price, Black. Especially you.
I'm paid well.
Yes, but not as well as you'd like to be. Not as well as you could be.
It's not about the money.
That old chestnut. Okay, fine. Then how about this? According to my sources, Ramsey has a surprisingly accurate record of your criminal history, far more so than the police. Seems to me he's got you over a bit of a barrel. Work for him or go to prison. The way I see it, Mr. Black. You're his bitch.
You sound jealous.
Quite like the approach to this part as well. Which would be slowly opening door and the slightly circuitous route you have to take on these crumbling
I envy
walkways.
no man, Black. If someone has something I want, I take it for myself. So here's my offer, and I'll only make it once. You work for me, not Ramsey. I devise a plan to get Ramsey's Pandora device, and you carry it out. You name your price within reason, and if you're successful, I'll forget about the whole corner gun fiasco, and we'll both be on our merry way. How does that sound?
If I refuse,
You're alive because you're useful, Black. Don't get any ideas.
no.
Excuse me.
I said no.
I'm not sure I've been clear enough here, Black.
Oh, you've been clear. But I refuse your offer, Howard. I'll not work for you. I'll never work for you. I'll not carry out this little plan of yours. I don't agree to any of it. I refuse.
Just realised the Puppet Master who should be king who have to think it's a Shakespeare thing, Macbeth. There's actually two more things to find here on the way to what we're about to see.
You've spent so much time, so much energy figuring out who's to blame, yet you never stop to consider yourself.
Quite easy to miss these. Yep, Patient 219, the Puppet Master, the painter, was Cole Black. Well, we already knew Cole Black was the Puppet Master from the Puppet Party. And seems it's fairly clear at this point from this letter why he's the Puppet Master. Looks like the Asylum people worked out that they're where they are.
What the fuck? Ramsey! What's going on?
I'm, how to put it, closing the asylum.
How are you doing this? What is this place? Oh, this place again. What's it all about this time?
Who are you?
Particularly like this part coming up. A quite a little trail of abandonment we're seeing about what became of Ramsey's home after the situations. The kidnapping of Grace and the stress he put him under. Particularly this couch is basically rotten. I quite like you can see the beginnings of his investigation here as well, with these early bits of evidence reappearing. It was like these were some of the first things he came across.
I'm afraid I haven't been quite straight with you, Black. My apologies.
Right. Once and for all, what the fuck is going on, Ramsey? Where am I now?
My memories, Mr. Black. Interacting with someone wearing the Pandora can sometimes create what I call synaptic bleed. Two-way traffic, if you will. A flaw in the technology.
And the asylum?
Oh, forgive me. The asylum was necessary.
Son of a bitch. That whole thing was just some big illusion.
Simulation would be the correct term. The construct was of my own design, intended to keep your adrenaline at the optimum level for the technology to function efficiently.
And the inmates? Patients of yours?
The patients were nothing to do with me. I just provided the simulation. But the mind has a wonderful way of filling in the gaps. I show you a creepy old asylum, your mind populates it with lunatics. Likely just half-remembered characters from your life. Sometimes even films and books. Predictable, perhaps, but not unexpected.
So you tricked me. This whole thing was a lie.
Do you want to talk about lies, Mr. Black? Whose lies and tricks would you rather discuss? Mine or yours?
I don't know what you mean.
You know exactly what I mean. This is Grace's room. You remember her, Black? The girl you tried to save. My daughter.
Of course!
Then why were you there? You were my employee, Black. My head of security. You knew my daughter had been taken and you said nothing.
I don't remember!
I don't believe you. What about Lenore, my wife? What about her, Black?
I don't know what you want me to say!
She left me, Black. She blamed all this on me, and it wasn't my fault. I refuse to accept responsibility for the actions of some terrorist. Tell me what you know.
All I know of her is what I've seen here, in your memories. I'm sorry, I can't help you.
What about this man, Black? You remember him?
I remember you, Ramsey. And I am sorry for what you've been through. But I tried to help. I just didn't get there soon enough. Please, let me go.
Is that what you want, Black? To be let go?
Of course, we had a deal.
Let you go? Happy to, of course. But let me ask you this. Are there any circumstances under which you would not wish to be let go?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Welcome to my office, Mr. Black. Have a look around. I'm sure you'll be able to make sense of everything.
So let's explore Ramsey's office, shall we? I quite like that conversation because at this point, Black knows exactly where he stands and exactly how much power Ramsey has. So Black is at this point pretty much in a blind state of panic, not quite sure what to do or what to say, just hoping to somehow appease Ramsey. And Ramsey is having none of it. He's dropped any pretense of friendliness at this point, with that wonderfully cold line of, "I don't believe you."
What the fuck? This is me. More of your scare tactics, Ramsey. But it won't fucking work. Not anymore.
You say you don't remember anything else. That you've told me everything.
I have. I swear.
Then perhaps it is time to let you go. Goodbye, Mr. Black.
Wait!
Thanks for the memory.
I can still help! Robert! Don't do this! I'm sorry! I'm sorry for everything! Wake me up! Please! Just wake me up!
Time for a bit of review, shall we? This is showing us a view that I quite like. The ceiling of the armory and the area where you keep all of the stuff, all of the evidence, whatever, the locker. Because I like the visuals that you're basically like, that the ceiling doesn't really exist, it's just the nerves in Black's brain. That's an interesting visual touch, and I quite like that. I showed it briefly in the first bonus video right at the end, just to show it off. But yeah, here's a bit of a summary of all the data we got from the Pandora when we were investigating Black's memories. This basically tells us how we're doing on the way to the good ending. Blue means we're doing fairly well, red means, oops, too much combat, be a little more careful. And then sometimes you have these kind of things where it's a little bit neutral. This is a weird one though, because that's blue, but that's something that Red was yelling at us for earlier. It was wasting time in that memory. Yeah, there's a lot of levels where towards the end where it's kind of hard not to have conflict significant. Well, we needed the collectible, says Sumi. We'll investigate that when I go through showing off stuff for the bad ending. There's a lot of the interesting things that happen on the way to the bad ending, and I will show that off in time. I'll probably focus with that sort of stuff on like the most interesting stuff, which is in the asylum itself, and then maybe playing through the first few levels in a very fighty kind of way to show off a few of the weapons and recording that, and then going from there when it comes to trying to get the bad ending, just to try and make the blue output outweigh the red. Because just going up the first few levels should be enough, really. The later levels are a little bit too annoying to replay because of how difficult they can get. I quite like these little ones though, because these are, it's supposed to be only need to go through once in the game. So it's nice to have this happening now, all at once, as a kind of like, yep, you've got all the stuff, kind of acknowledgement.
Audit phase complete. Cerebral link, patient number Black 001. Pandora unit terminal disconnect. Would you like to commence archive data review, Dr. Ramsey?
Yes. Switch to Savant unit playback. Begin the review. Oh, and Hope, could you also fire up the coffee machine?
Doctor, prior to review, my medical recommendation would be the implementation of a minimum 4-hour rest period. Further caffeine intake will only delay fatigue, not arrest it.
And make it a double shot. 3 sugars. I also need a baseline memory to carry out the review. Which was the most stable from those recorded?
That would be this. Cached on initial Pandora system startup of patient Black 001.
Good. Then let us explore a complete memory before we review the broken. Proceed with interactive playback.
We'll proceed with that later, next time. For now, this is the Savant section of the game. We've done with Pandora, reviewing Black's memories, and now, well, auditing Black's memories. Now it's time to review them and find out exactly where the lies lay. And also, this is something I want to show off, since it's also saved here. Something about the main menu that I quite like. Yeah, there's actually been 2 characters this whole time. We just didn't see one of them. So I'll see you next time for the Red playthrough. Goodbye.